Generally, when the word statistics comes in our mind, numbers immediately comes in front. But statistics is not the game of numbers. It's a collection of numbers that gives us information. This is what we call data. Today no government can survive without data. In fact, every government needs data, like how many are born, and how many die per day. The data so received can give us an idea about population growth. So there is need to know about production of wheat and vegetables. For this, we need collection of data, we analyze it, and ultimately we have to make conclusions. It can be easily done by the following graphical representations: A. Bar graphs, B. Histograms of uniform width and of varying widths, C. Frequency polygons. And so we first take up bar graph. We have to collect data and then draw bar graph. As we know, production of potato, wheat per capita varies from place to place. Their production per capita can be easily understood visually by drawing a graph called bar graph. A bar graph is a pictorial representation of data. Bars with equal or unequal spacing are drawn on x-axis. Their values are shown on y-axis. Examine the graph below carefully before answering the questions. The bar graph depicts yearly inflation in 4 countries, A, B, C, D, for the years 2015-16. Which country had lower inflation in 2016 than the previous year? Watching country C have lower inflation than previous year. The bar graph below depicts the number of students in various classes at a school. Answer the below questions using the bar graph provided. A. The total number of students in each class. B. The overall number of students from grades 6 to 8. C. The overall number of students from grades 1 to 8. D. The number of students in a class on average. A. The number of students in each class are 100, 90, 180, 120, 90, 70, 50. B. Overall students from class 6 to 8 is 90 plus 70 plus 50 equals 210. C. Overall students from class 1 to 8 equals 700. D. Average students per class equals sum of all. Total equals 700 divided by 8 equals 87.50. In our daily life today, we are all concerned as how many are born or die per day. This is a very important information for any nation. So these data can be collected and put to analysis well by another graphical method called histogram, a graphical representation of data using bars, where the area of each bar corresponds to the frequency of data within a specific range, and there are no gaps between the bars to show the continuity of the data. For example, to fulfill the minimum criteria, during a military recruitment, heights and weights are measured. All these informations are nothing but collection of data. So the facts, figures, numericals or otherwise for some definite purpose is called data. Let there are 20 students in a class, heights and weights of them are measured, which are found as follows. We read these data as one of the student have height 155 centimeters and weight as 81 kilograms, whereas other have 158 centimeters as height and weight as 78 kilograms. And so on. In fact, these data giving us some informations. So statistics can be defined as the science of numbers that gives us some kind of informations. In order to have informations, we should have data. So there is a question of collection of data. Data can be collected in 2 ways. One is to collect information by going shop to shop or house to house directly. This is called primary collection of data. Another is the information that we collect from radio, TV, and newspaper etc. indirectly is called secondary collection of data. Random collection of data that we have is raw. It has to be classified as grouped or ungrouped. For example, marks obtained by students in a class out of 20 are, this is unorganized called ungrouped. When we make them organized by arranging them in increasing or decreasing order, it is then called as grouped data. Interpreting data is typical when spread of data is very large. Interpreting become easy when we go through graphical method. So let us try to understand by taking an example. Marks obtained by 20 students are laid down, out of 20. Minimum marks equals 0, maximum marks equals 20. Now we find, class width equals upper class limit minus lower class limit whole upon number of interval equals 20 minus 0 upon 5 equals 4. So first class interval equals 0 to 4, second equals 4 to 8, third equals 8 to 12, 4 RTH equals 12 to 16, fifth equals 16 to 20, and last sixth equals 20 to 24. Now we will count numbers from O up to number less than 4, which is 1, called frequency. Similarly frequency of 4 to 8 equals 2, similarly for equals 8 to 12 equals 6, for 12 to 16 equals 6, for 16 to 20 equals 4, and at last for 20 to 24 equals 1. We can put these datas in the tabular form as. Now interpretation can be easily done if we draw a graph between classified datas, taking intervals on x-axis and their frequencies on y-axis. The graph we have is called as histogram. In a particular section of class 9, 40 students were asked about the months of their birth, and the following graph was prepared for the data so obtained. Observe the bar graph given above and answer the following questions. I. How many students were born in the month of November? E. In which month were the maximum number of students born? Just watching the graph first, students born in the month of November is 4. Second, the maximum number of students were born in the month of August. The histogram for a frequency distribution is given below. Answer the following. 1. What is the frequency of the class interval 15 to 20? 2. What is the class intervals having the greatest frequency? Watching the figure we see that 1. The frequency of the class interval 15 to 20 is 25, and 2. The class intervals having the greatest frequency is 20 to 25. In the same histogram, if we find that the midpoints of 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 30 to 35, and 35 to 40, as O, A, B, C, D, A, F, G and join them accordingly, then we have a polygon OABCDEFG, called frequency polygon. Midpoints so find are called as class mark.